welcome back to the Wellness and Growth Journeys podcast. I am your host, Alicia Jordan, the founder of the Wellness Growth Agency, where we focus on empowering women-centered health and wellness businesses. Now, today we are thrilled to have Dr. Alicia Jordan with us in our virtual studio. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Dr. Jordan is a distinguished dermatologist at Cornwall Regional Hospital in Jamaica and an advocate for comprehensive skincare. Now, she combines her vast medical expertise with her passion for aesthetic enhancements to help her patients achieve their best skin health. Now, today, she's here to share her insights on maintaining healthy skin at any age. So let's dive in and get a deeper understanding of how to care for our skin with Dr. Jordan's expert guidance. Now, let's start first with your journey. Could you share what inspired you to pursue a career in dermatology and then what keeps you passionate about this field?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. Yeah. Um, Really and truly, it was my own journey with skin problems that kind of pushed me into seeking out skin as an option. I always knew I wanted to be a doctor, but
Right.
having had skin issues, eczema when I was, I think it was 7 or 8, I was like, oh, okay. And I got better when I went to the dermatologist. They actually piqued my interest. And then my family actually has eczema, so I've always wanted to do dermatology and be into skincare because of that. So that was really it. A personal journey along with my family having eczema and skin issues that really kind of led me into wanting to do dermatology as a specialty in medicine.
Yeah, that's really interesting because a lot of my guests, when I ask them about their journey, usually it is something that affected them directly that made them specialize in what they're specializing in now. So it is not, yeah, it's not really far-fetched to know that it's because of your experience that it made you want to get into that field specifically. So yes, what then are some of the most challenging or rewarding aspects of working in dermatology? Because I guess you could have picked any field, but you focus on that. So what are some of the like challenges first, and then I guess the most rewarding aspects of working in dermatology for you?
Okay. Well, challenges, I think this is across the Caribbean generally because I've worked in Barbados and in Jamaica as well. So resources will always be a challenge and getting patients to specialists or to the doctor they need to get to, getting patients the medications they need to get. Those are some of the challenges that we have across the board, I believe, because we're still developing countries and the medication which we may have learned when we were in schools is not necessarily available to all of our patients. So the
Right.
challenges really come with trying to tweak and trying to, make things happen with nothing. But the rewards are many. It's great to see your patients get better, especially skin stuff. People can see your skin. So it's not
Exactly.
like internal issues like high blood pressure and diabetes where nobody knows unless you tell them. When persons have actual skin issues and it's florid, people can see, actually seeing patients improve, their skin get better. That's some of the biggest rewards, especially if it is extensive skin disease.
Okay, I get you. And is there a challenge with people actually coming to you to get certain things corrected or waiting like really late?
Yes. So that's the issue in a lot of spaces. So, your grandmother tells you that this bush can be put on this skin problem, or
Right.
you use this ointment to put on this skin problem. The issue is it may not actually be that skin problem. So there's a lag between when people first see a skin issue and when they come to us. That is getting smaller because people are more aware that there's dermatology and there's a skin doctor, but that is an issue in terms of people getting to us in the acute phase. So normally we'd have to ask, what you put on the rash before you get to us.
Right,
What over
right.
the counter treatment or what home remedy did you use? Because what we may be seeing is not how it looked initially. So that is the issue, decreasing the time between when they have their issue and when they present to a dermatologist or a doctor. and
That's
get
true.
referred.
We do have a lot of home remedies that we probably put a little cocoa butter upon it,
Yep. Some blue, some bush.
some bush, to see if we could get it cleared up ourselves. Especially since we don't even know what it is. But you're like, man, that's
Yeah.
that easy. That could be cleared up pretty quickly. When in actuality, you need medication to solve the
Yep.
problem, or
Or
you probably make
medical
it
attention.
worse. You
Exactly.
you probably make it worse. And another thing that we have a tendency of doing is going to the pharmacist.
Yeah, so that is an issue because I mean it's kind of controversial. So there's some things that are over the counter, but a good pharmacist will then tell you, no, I can't give this to you. You need to see a doctor. So
It's
there's a
true.
limit as to what you can get over the counter for specific reasons because there's side effects to medication, which some patients they understand, but they don't understand. So it's a case where, you can't be using this without direction. And sometimes they just want to, avoid another cost, which is the cost of seeing the doctor, to bypass just
Exactly.
going to get the medication or
Right. Plus, they
asking the
might think,
pharmacist
yeah, they
what
might
it
think
is.
it's not a big enough issue for me to go and see a doctor
Hmm.
about it. So I think that might be the mindset. They're like, okay, well, this is a little rash or whatever. Let me just go to the pharmacist and get a little ointment. Or they might even go on these shelves themselves and like pick up some
Yeah,
BNT or I think,
that's normal. That's
yeah,
normal, but you have to know when it's not working and when it's time to see a doctor or a medical professional. That's the key to get our patients to know, okay, well, I've been trying this for 3 months now and it's not working. I think I should make an appointment to see the doctor.
agreed, agreed. So for women over 35, what are some of the common skin concerns that you encounter and what preventative measures do you recommend? I guess for those skin
So,
issues that could be
and
solved.
women are the ones who tend to come, but I mean, I'm seeing more male patients as well. But yes, we're talking about women. This is a forum for women, especially over 35. So the list is long. Sometimes they come with, a A to Z list, but the common things would include acne. So we're still seeing women over 35 with acne.
Right.
A lot of it may be because of hormonal issues that women are having post pregnancy. So, what people would call dark spots or scars, which is called post inflammatory hyperpigmentation. In the black population, that's a big issue because, okay, you may have had whatever illness in your skin, but it left you with dark spots. So now your skin is pitchy patchy or popsy. I haven't heard that word in a long while.
It's
Um,
definitely a major word.
that is a major word. So yes, that's one texture issue. So as you age, your skin not as smooth as it was when they were in their 20s. Women post pregnancy, you come with stretch marks or other changes due to postpartum. So the list is long. In terms of prevention, well, I mean, at that point, you can't tell them you could have seen a dermatologist earlier. But
Right.
for those listening, those who aren't yet certified, I mean, if you're having changes in your skin, you really should start to see a dermatologist about these issues. So acne can scar. I know people think that it's just teenage bumps, or that's what our parents told us and
Exactly. We
generations.
don't expect to
But
got bumps at 30, 35. We don't expect.
exactly, exactly, they expected it to go away in your 20s, but you can still see treatment for that before it gets to the point where you're having scarring or issues later on in your 30s. So that the prevention for those things is really, earlier intervention. But if
Okay.
it is that you're having issues with texture, then there are things that your dermatologist can do. So as you age, we all want that skin as we were when we were a baby or a teenager
For
or
sure.
even then. So those are a lot of issues that women have, especially over 35, where you're starting to see subtly the signs of aging, depending on your ethnicity. Prevention, I would say, really, so if the 20-year-olds are listening, teenagers are listening, is really to start to treat your skin issues from an earlier age. So, don't ignore whatever changes or whatever issues you have to say it will go away by itself because then in your 30s, you'll be left with the complications of whatever illness or whatever skin issue you did not treat. So earlier intervention is really and truly one of the things. Get into a doctor, get into a dermatologist earlier if you have skin issues. With regard to the texture and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, we can treat those in our 35-year-olds and after, but it also depends on how severe it is. So
Okay,
it's
okay.
a lot of it is prevention in
Right.
terms of earlier intervention. That's why I would say. But the issues, I mean, women can be very critical of their bodies and their skin. So from the tiniest pimple that I may need to take out something to zoom in on and see, they will complain about, and that'll be more magnified as you get older. You tend to find things to pick about, or more things
Right,
that you're
right,
unhappy about
right,
with your
right.
skin.
Is there anything we could do, I guess, in terms of some sort of skincare regimen or anything when you're younger or even
I mean, it depends on what is happening with your skin. So to answer that question, I see there's a lot of things floating around TikTok with 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds having like a full regime. Yes, going to
really
Sephora in the US and buying all of these things.
to
You
do
do not
what
need that
though? To do
because it's a
what?
trend. It's a trend,
Right.
exactly. So there's too much and there's too little. So if it is that you do have skin issues, whether it be acne, whether it be eczema, you need to get those things under control earlier on in the game rather than later. But in terms of anti-aging regime, I think for the ethnicities that we see, mostly in the Caribbean, like 90% of our patients are black. By 35, you will probably start to see some subtle signs of aging, few little wrinkles coming in. So there's like what we call ABCs of aging, which is the A is vitamin A derivatives. So this is your retinoids, which will be your retinol, which is over the counter that you'll go and see, and it'll have all the good stuff, helps with wrinkles, helps with fine lines. B is the sunscreen, so burning. You want to prevent any sunburns, and I know our black patients don't think that they can burn, but they can.
We can.
And the sun definitely what causes and induces a lot of our photoaging, as we call it. So the wrinkles, the fine lines, a lot of that is sun damage. So using a sunscreen, and then C is vitamin C. So vitamin C topically can actually brighten your skin and help with what we call free radicals in the air. It's like an antioxidant. So the same way your parents told you eat your fruits and vegetables when you're younger, which you appreciate that is actually true. You need it to. The vitamin C actually topically helps a lot with anti-aging and skincare. So that's like the ABCs of anti-aging. So if you want to start those things earlier, that can help with your aging process.
Okay, okay. So I guess whatever you buy over the counter, whatever serum or whatever from the beauty.
Well, it's specific stuff. So the retinol is over the counter, but the
Right.
retinoids have to be prescribed by a dermatologist.
Okay, okay.
The B was the sunscreen part to prevent sunburns. Most of those are over the counter. And then your vitamin C, those are over the counter as well. So you can start a regime without having to break the bank,
Right, right.
and actually see a dermatologist. And then if you're not seeing the desired results or you're having new issues, then you can kind of bring your dermatologist into play in that anti-aging regime.
Yes, and then you could get, I guess, a customized, more personal routine once you visit a dermatologist as well. Because I mean, it is a huge field and it's getting big in Barbados. I don't know about Jamaica. You got to tell me, was also getting big in Barbados now, where women are actively going to dermatologists and we care about how we look and how we age and looking as young as as long as possible, or at least the youngest we can look for as long as possible.
I think it's worldwide because you want to look good for as
Yes,
long as possible. So
yes,
I think Jamaica is probably ahead of Barbados in terms of this, and a lot of it we're
probably.
seeing in terms of cosmetic procedures. So that's a big trend here. I can't comment on what's happening in Barbados in terms of the cosmetic dermatology procedures, but even cosmetic procedures overall are becoming a big trend. Before, you only used to hear about celebrities getting Botox and lip
Yes,
fillers.
yes.
That's an everyday thing here. That's commonplace. So that is becoming more accessible, and when things become more accessible, people tend to seek them out. So anti-aging is a thing. They're saying, not only the Kardashians, not only these other people can look good, people are also having more access and more money to
Right.
do these things. So
Right.
that's one of the things. So I think throughout the Caribbean in the next probably 5 to 10 years, it'll be a bigger wave with cosmetic and aesthetic procedures actually becoming a trend. Because before, older school, our parents, mothers, probably aunts, uncles, no, nobody was touching Botox. Nobody was doing anything to their skin. If you count 10 people now in over 35, probably two out of that 10 people, women and men, may have had some aesthetic or cosmetic procedure done.
Yes, agreed. I do remember when I was younger, though, there was like these skin whitening, lightening creams that
Bleaching.
some people used to use, like, because I don't know, maybe there was this understanding or misunderstanding that that would help clear up dark spots, and if you have stretch marks and so on, it will help with that kind of thing. But I do
I
remember
mean,
that that existed when I was younger.
that still exists. It's a lot. The bleaching, we would have to get like 2 days to talk about bleaching,
Yeah,
especially
we're not
here.
promoting bleaching.
We're not, but that is one of the reasons because there were surveys done for persons who lighten their skin, and that is one of the reasons. So again, the post-inflammatory and hyperpigmentation or dark spots. That's a big reason that persons of color will use
Right.
lightening agents or bleaching
Yes.
agents because they want that to actually go
Clear
stretch
up.
marks. Yes, but then there's also other psychological issues that persons use bleaching creams to solve, especially when it comes to whole body lightening of the skin. That's not only in Caribbean and in Jamaica specifically, it's in a lot of other countries, Asian countries. Skin lightening is a big business, and you would think, but they're already light, but
Yeah, but I
it's a
understand it because they want to get
big
a
business.
certain, they want to have a certain tone. Because
Yes,
I think, yeah,
and
they do like that.
that's a nice phrase for it now, toning. So you don't bleach,
Tone.
you tone.
Yes. It's going to bleach something get on now. So I guess we could say it's a tone. How do the aesthetic treatments, right, complement traditional dermatology in your practice? Because, well, we talking about Botox, and we, which is the aesthetic kind of thing. It's not a skin
Mm-hmm.
problem kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
how do both of them complement each other within your
Well,
practice?
there's aesthetic and there's cosmetic. So it's like a slight difference. So aesthetic stuff that I would implement would include things like chemical peels. So that's aesthetic, and a lot of my patients have dark spots or PIH, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, after the acne. So chemical peels are one of the aesthetic procedures we would utilize to help persons to achieve then, more even toned skin, microdermabrasion, microneedling for those persons who have acne scars. But
Right.
Botox, outside of cosmetic use, actually has medical usage. So for persons who don't know, if you have excessive sweating, you can actually use Botox on the arms to help to decrease the sweating. So persons who get really sweaty in their palms or their soles, or their feet, and on the arms, we actually use Botox. They're not as an aesthetic treatment, but as a complementary medical treatment. But Botox is one of the things that I think persons now are a little bit more comfortable with because they're like, they've seen results over the years, and they don't want their face to be frozen.
Right.
And persons are aware that, I can get Botox and not have my face look as though I can't move or I can't
Right. Looks
smile.
natural.
So that's becoming more commonplace in terms of aesthetic stuff happening as well as lip fillers. But a lot of it complements dermatology because with a lot of dermatology or traditional dermatology, because with a lot of traditional dermatology issues, you have complications on the skin. Whether you're left with a scar, so even things like injecting steroid creams into a scar for a lot of our patients who have keloids, or as we would say, growing flesh in Barbados,
Yes.
those things are aesthetic because it's not medical, but we're doing it to help something that was a medical problem. So all of those things complement traditional dermatology.
Okay, great, great. And since we talk about Botox and we talk about bleaching for a little bit, could you debunk any popular skincare myths that might be misleading or harmful? We already talked about the bleaching, but are there any other kind of myths that?
Well, it's not like a big myth. Everybody knows skin bleaching is can be harmful or is harmful depending on product use, but something that people don't think about. More products don't necessarily mean more results. So that's a
Right,
big myth. So more products can also mean more irritation.
right.
So persons tend to think I need to get this, and then they complain as to how dermatology is so expensive because they have to get all these products. But you don't need more products to get more results. More products can also mean more irritation because you can be allergic to a multiplicity of ingredients or preservatives that they put in the products. So that's a big myth out there. More products equals more results. And that's something I want to debunk. More products can equal more irritation and actually set you back on your skincare journey rather than push you forward.
Well, thank you for that because usually when you see the, I guess the social media influencers, especially the beauty and the makeup influencers, they got like a whole shelf of
But
products
I want to stick a pin.
that,
I want people to remember that these people are getting paid. These people
right,
are getting
right.
paid to do that. Their job is to make you want to buy. And consumerism is a big thing now. So I mean, I think I have been guilty of that. I'm a self-proclaimed skin junkie. You see it and you're like, oh, I want to try this, and you go and you buy it, and then you see somebody else do it, and you say, oh, that looks interesting. That worked for her. I want to go and buy it. So once persons understand, the aim of these people are to make money and to sell you on stuff, then you need to take a step back and say, okay, maybe I don't need this, or maybe I should go and see what I need by actually either going to a dermatologist if they don't want to go to an esthetician to see, okay, do I need all of these products? And before going to buy everything that social media influencers actually recommend, who
Listen,
are not usually medical professionals,
right.
by the
And
way.
then on top of that, they might already, because they're young, already have that like kind of flawless skin. So first of all, they might
Or
not need it. Yes, I know they got
they
filters.
may have a filter on.
I know they got filters.
They may have a filter on. And that's a big thing in social media. Like a lot of these people just filter everything. So you're like, wow, ooh, I want my skin to look like hers. And if she moves that way, the filter comes off.
Yeah, I just look at the hands. So like when I see the hands looking a little soft and pretty when it get,
Apparently they can filter their whole videos now, not only just face. There's
yes,
AI and can do what
technology. You're right.
exactly.
Technology is getting
So
pretty advanced. But I do
persons
remember
need to take these things with a grain of salt when you see
it's
social
true.
media influencers and their flawless skin selling you on products.
Listen, so there is this one influencer comes to mind. She's this Asian lady. I think she might be Korean. Listen, this skincare routine is type of hour. No lie. There's like stuff for your lips, stuff for your under your eye. I even see like I don't know if you've seen the mask, the Iron Man mask that people will put on.
I mean, the thing is, if you're talking about women over 35 and wellness, nobody has that time. Most persons
It's
probably
true.
have a job and a side hustle and a family, and they have to cook dinner. And after they do that, they're gonna drop asleep. If you are that dedicated to doing your 25 or 40 step Korean skincare, kudos to you. But realistically, nobody has that time every single night and every single morning to do all of these things. And you don't necessarily need to do that to get good skin. Again, these people are putting on their camera and they're doing these things on a one off, but do they actually do that every single day in their life? And I would say 9 out of 10 times, no, none of them do.
Most likely not. They just do it for the video and the views, I believe. And I think they're also riding the Korean skincare wave because it's like kind
Trending.
of said, yeah, it's trending now that Korea has like the best skincare and even for black people and their skin. No, I'm not really sure, but that's probably another conversation. So could you provide some essential skincare tips then? that women over 35 should incorporate into their daily routine? Because we talk about the 25-step Korean, with the iron mass and all this kind of thing. But is there something simple that we could literally just start today? For me, I got like a simple moisturizer and that's it, and a face wash. But
Yeah.
is there specific
So it
things?
depends. Again, everything in medicine is targeted based on your unique skin care goals and your unique skin problems. So it's not. This is a disclaimer. This is not a one size fits all.
Right,
But
right,
starting out for women, you need something to cleanse your skin with, and that should be a gentle cleanser. Everybody needs a gentle cleanser, depending on if you have specific issues, whether you have acne, you may need something, a cleanser that has specific ingredients that targets acne. But one, you need something to cleanse your skin with. Two, you need a moisturizer. And I tell my patients a moisturizer with a sunscreen, especially in the day, is better. So that's one less step. Instead of a moisturizer and then a sunscreen, find a
right,
moisturizer that has a sunscreen in it or has some protection that you can put on. And that's one of the things. Three, I would say for women over 35, are retinoids because retinoids, which are vitamin A derivatives, they're the ones that will start to actually help to firm your collagen. Collagen is a protein under the skin that keeps your skin looking plump. They'll actually help to decrease fine lines and wrinkles, and it actually also help with hyperpigmentation. So literally, that's three things
right,
out of
right,
a probably 40-step routine that you can start very easily to implement into your regimen. For those
right,
persons who then want to go on to get other specific targeted treatments, that's fine. But a daily routine, you need to cleanse. You need to be moisturizing with sunscreen, especially in the day because we live in the Caribbean, and the sun is hot, and the sun will cause a lot of aging generally and a lot of inflammation for those who have inflammatory skin problems. And you need, well, not you need, but I would suggest a retinoid for especially women over 35 who are starting to go into the phase where the skin is going into that I'm aging, my skin is not what it used to be, slowing down, start to process.
right, right. And I do find that my skin is starting to get a little dry, so that's why I have the moisturizer in there. But the retinoid, we would have to get a prescription for that one.
Yeah, so the retinoid is prescription. So might be things you hear like retinase, retinoid, but retinol, there are retinol creams which are not as strong that are sold over the counter in most pharmacies or beauty supply stores.
Okay, okay. Um, so really just make sure you see a dermatologist to get to get what you need to get started and then
Well,
go from there.
eventually, yes, if you want a specialized skincare regimen.
Right.
But for persons starting out, at least, because some persons tell me they just wash their face with water and go to their bed. If you have
But that's
perfect skin,
you don't need it.
fine.
But I wanted to say, but that's what I used to do when I was younger. I remember a mutual friend of ours. She was like, "You just do what? You just use normal soap, like bath soap, to like wash your face." I was like, "Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
have
that's
a
all.
specific."
That's all like my male clients, and they can get away with that for most routines. But as you get older, so just to break it down for our listeners, as you get older, the same way you start to get the joint pains, and you start to get up and sound like ow ooh. Your skin also starts to
Right,
slow down, so your skin
right,
generally turns over. We don't see our skin shedding, but it does. So your skin takes about 4 to 5 weeks to turn over, meaning going from the bottom layer of the skin to the top layer of the skin. We don't see that process. But as you get older, that process is not as efficient. So that's why we need to help our skin out. Our skin tends to get drier because, you're busy, you're not hydrating as much, you're not drinking your
right,
water, and generally times are hotter overall, and your skin is losing moisture. So these processes start to decrease as you get older, and that's why if we want our skin to look like what it looked like in your 20s, then you have to help your skin out. So that's where the things like the retinoids come. That's where the things like cleansing to get rid of oil and start to open up your pores a little bit more. That's where that comes in. So in your 20s, you may have gotten away with washing your face with water or bath soap and glue. But as you get older, you need to help your skin out because the natural processes that would have been up and running tend to start to
right,
get slower
right.
as we age.
And what if you don't wear makeup? You still have to go through the cleanser because I know it's like a cleanser, toner,
Well,
moisturizer kind of.
I think that everybody should be cleansing. It depends. If you wear makeup, then you should be double cleansing, and then
Right.
after that, using something else because persons don't understand that even when they cleanse, they still need to wipe afterwards to make sure the makeup is gone. A lot of persons just wash and think the makeup is gone, and that is one of the issues, especially for my patients who have acne prone skin, a lot of women. So they get better, their skin looks good, and then they go and they have this whole thing where they want to wear all their makeup, and then they come back saying, "But doc, my skin is breaking out." And my question is, did you change anything? They're like, "I went out and I started to wear makeup, but it's are you taking the makeup off properly?" So if that's the thing for women and your job requires you to wear makeup every day, your skincare regime has to be then a little bit more on the cleansing aspect. That's the part I would focus on more to make sure that you're double cleansing. So you're washing not once, but you're washing twice, and make sure you have something else that's going to remove the makeup, whether it's towelette. We don't necessarily like the wipes that are scented, or micellar water that you're putting on a cotton ball and wiping. You still see residue. So you keep going until you cannot see anything.
Keep going to it clear.
Keep going because makeup can be acne. It can cause acne. It can cause your skin to break out. It can cause pimples. People know from before, back in the days, women may have gone out partying, come back home, fall asleep in your makeup,
You done know.
and then 2 days later you see a pimple, and because it's clogging your pores,
Yes, yeah.
so
You
you
didn't
didn't
remove it
actually
right
remove your
away.
makeup right away, and that is causing an issue. So
Yes.
for our ladies who are over 35, or not even younger ladies who are wearing makeup, whether they're that's by choice, or some, I know some jobs or some professions require you to wear makeup and look a certain way, your
True. True.
cleansing part of your routine needs to double up.
Right. 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 So wipe until you don't see anything.
Keep
That
watching.
that's keep watching, and I mean you might think that you got it all, but then if you get into like the corners and crevices and that kind of thing, you realize, oh wait, I still see it,
The
especially for like
mascara,
mascara
the
and
eyeliner.
eyeliner. You gotta
Correct.
keep you gotta keep wiping that area for sure. Are there any new trends or treatments that you're excited about in the field of dermatology? Anything new?
There's always new stuff. Medicine is always evolving. Dermatology is no different. The new stuff isn't necessarily aesthetics because surprisingly, that's not my main focus in dermatology. I like medical dermatology.
Right.
So we are getting a lot of new treatments that can help patients who have severe skin diseases. So persons who have a really bad eczema, really bad psoriasis, biologics, which are drugs that are more targeted. They have been around, but they they're looking into more specific disease treatment. So they're looking to see, okay, what specific molecule is causing this, and they're trying to target that. So you don't have to buy a million and one boxes of creams, a million and one boxes of moisturizers for whichever skin disease. So it's really targeted treatment, whether that's by injection, whether that's by a tablet, and that's the way the world is going to go, really and truly. Dermatology is very much up there in terms of the biologics and the different treatments. Currently, they're very expensive.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to them becoming more accessible to our patients in the Caribbean so that they can get better control of their illnesses. A lot of their illnesses are expensive, where we have kind of like exhausted all the medical treatment we have. These newer treatments really change the quality of life of the patients, especially patients who are itchy all over, scaly all over. They really do change the quality of life of the patients, and I'm kind of excited about where treatments are going, and hopefully us having more access to that in the Caribbean in the near, very, very near future, hopefully.
Well, that sounds really good. And yes, you said quality of life, and it would also affect you in every area of your life, really,
Well, that's the
mental
thing,
and emotionally and everything.
people don't understand skin until something happens to their skin. So you can't hide your skin disease when it actually happens to you. So for somebody who has 90% of their skin covered in scales. Maybe they have psoriasis. You can't hide that. Well, they try. So yes, you can put on a big hoodie, but if it's on your face or it's on your scalp or it's on your ears or your hand where people are gonna see, and the first thing people do is they point and they
Yep.
start to ask. Persons
And they
who
might
don't
shun.
have Exactly. Persons who don't have visible illnesses don't get that. So nobody will know that you have diabetes unless you tell them. Everybody can see that your skin's scaly and your skin flaking, and everybody can see the pimples on your face. So it's a lot of psychological trauma sometimes for patients who
Yeah.
have extensive skin disease because it is there, it is in person's face, and they
Yeah.
tend to avoid going out, so less social
Exactly.
interaction or try
Yes.
to cover up so that persons don't ask any questions. So
Yeah.
persons don't really think about that unless it happens to them or it happens to a relative, and
Yeah.
then they can understand where the person is coming from, or them themselves may then say, express that to their doctor that, oh, I went in a taxi and this person didn't want to sit next to me because my skin look away, or there's obvious shunning of persons because
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and even if you try to explain to them that, you can get it from me or
that's the next thing. Everybody thinks everything on the skin is contagious. From it's on the skin, it's contagious.
exactly.
Probably 5% of things are, if that many, contagious, but that's a big thing. So outside of, yes, we're talking about our patients or what skin disease is one of the things a lot of patients will get shunned and scorned for.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that happening. And even if, you do try to educate the wider public about what it is, still people still gonna treat people that way. And that's unfortunately how it is. So I guess let's ask about marketing because that's what I do. I'm in marketing. Dermatology might be a little bit difficult to advertise because you there, especially with Meta right now prevents you from advertising stuff like before and after shots. So you can't advertise like, well, this is how the person looked before and this is now how they look. Yeah, so they're very particular. Let me use particular. They're very particular about things that you can advertise. And you can post it on your page and your whatever platform that you have. But in terms of actually advertising those services, they're quite particular about that. So I guess are there what marketing strategies do you have in place for I guess getting the word out there?
Okay, so let me just start by saying in medicine, the thing is that doctors actually really and truly are not supposed to advertise, or that's like an unspoken, or I actually think it's written
I think
somewhere
so too. I think
rule.
so
So
too.
you can't, I know for sure in Barbados, you can put an ad out in the paper to say you're opening a practice. You can put an ad out to say that you're moving the practice. You can put an ad out to say that you're closing the practice. But there's actually specific documentation on how many times you can put that ad and what you can say in the ad. You can't have a billboard on a street somewhere, but the advent of social media just changed the game for
Right.
everything and
Yes.
anyone. So the thing is, a lot of your patients, they will start to look you up, or they will start to look for dermatologists in Barbados and Google or go on Instagram, find somebody. So I think that's where we are now. So the majority of persons, well, I am on Instagram. I don't post very much. Unfortunately, I'm not very consistent, but I didn't even know that Meta had a before and after policy. But one of the things now as well is that the different medical councils in the Caribbean are implementing data protection act and privacy acts for your patients. So it's going to make it a
Right.
little
Right.
bit more difficult for you to, show your work,
Yeah.
especially as a
Yeah.
dermatologist, because people want to see how the person looked before and how they look after. They don't want to hear you talking about all the things that eczema can do and all the ways that it can be treated. They want to say, okay, he looked like this before and he looked good after, and I can come to you. But data protection is also going to prevent not a lot of it, but it's also going to kind of change the game as to how you can market your work and what you can do, what pictures you can post. Maybe the patient has to sign forms or disclosures before you can do
Right.
that.
Right.
So majority of my stuff is really, if I'm being honest, word of mouth. So you do a good job, and patients tell somebody else, and that's how they find you. Or some patient gives somebody else your number and they call you. But Instagram is one of the things that, I mean, it's easy to do. But like you said, it's changing a lot of stuff. One of my patients told me that I should be on TikTok. I
Right,
joined,
right.
but I'm
Yes.
like, I don't really know what to do there as
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So it's not a whole lot of marketing that I do generally on social media, but I think it can be leveraged for marketing. You just have to do it within the law and being mindful of data and privacy, patient privacy, even things like persons posting just general cosmetic procedures. Say, for example, let's use a BBL, and the person has a tattoo on their lower back. Barbados is small. Somebody could be able to say, "Wait, that's she. She got a tattoo of this, or she did whatever." So a lot of persons now have to blur things,
Right.
identifying marks. You have to blur it.
Right.
It's gonna become very technical, especially if you want to stay within the right side of the law. So it's really to kind of read around where you're practicing, what you can do, what you can't do. I think websites would be also helpful because persons want to know, where you are, when you're going to be there, how to get an appointment. So that's also another marketing tool that a lot of doctors probably employ as well, or get somebody else to do. That's where you come in.
Exactly. Exactly. I was waiting to plug myself, but you
Yeah, yes, that because we don't have the time. So that's one of the things.
exactly.
We don't have the time to manage it. We will be able to give
Yes.
somebody stuff to say, okay, do this, but a lot of persons won't have the actual time to sit and do that every single day for marketing. But yeah, marketing is one of the things, social media, especially now in 2024, where that's the first place people go before, I guess, maybe we would have gone to the phone book to look up
True, true,
where doctors
true.
are. I know
Or
even those phone books
we
are
will
still
ask
printed.
somebody.
Yeah, but people still ask. People underestimate word of mouth from as marketing. But if you do a good job and you have good
Exactly.
bedside manner, people will tell people about you, especially if they
Yes.
get better. And that's honestly a lot of referrals do come from word of mouth because people talk. Whether you do it
Exactly.
good or whether you do it bad, people will talk. So
Yeah.
in the instance where you do a good job, that's how you get a lot of referrals. But in this generation, social media, I think persons expect that you have a social media footprint somewhere. They should be able to put your name in and
Yes.
find you and
Yes.
find your handle somewhere on the
Yes,
internet.
yes, and they want to see reviews too. A lot of people miss out that bit. So like,
Yeah.
especially if you live in a bigger country like the U.S., for instance, like Google
True.
reviews is a huge thing because you can't influence what the person says about you, right? So you could copy somebody review and put it on your website and change it up so it sounds nice. But with Google
Hmm.
reviews, the person actually has to use their account to leave the review for you. I find a lot of people, me included, especially if it's like you're online
Yeah.
and you got like a Google business profile, I will look at the reviews, and if I see that you know wait too long or they had really bad service in terms from the receptionist
True.
as soon as they walk in, people will say and they're very upfront about that stuff. So
That is true. I forgot about that because people do find there's one office that I work at that people do come and say, "Oh, I found you on Google and you have 5-star reviews and the reviews are good and that's why I called." So that's true. I
exactly.
totally forgot about Google reviews.
Yeah, no, we in a generation though that we want to make sure that when we spend we money, we spend it well. So we can do the research when it comes
It's
to
true.
services, we can do the research when it comes to products, and people know that so well that some of them try to fabricate these things, right? But
Hmm.
once you I guess look at the like the same Google business, Amazon reviews, I think, because you have to be a member, you have to have bought the product, for instance, in order for them to allow you to leave a review on the site. So once people use, I guess, those legit or more legitimate avenues for reviews, then you then get to make the best decision, I guess, for you, or a more informed decision, I would say. So thank you for that. Can you share your personal skincare routine and how it's evolved over the years?
So I'm one of those persons who I will tell my patients sometimes, they do as I say and not as I do. But no, on a serious note, when I was younger, I was that person who bought the most things. So that's why I said I'm a certified skincare junkie. So I would go in the stores and I would look because I had acne and eczema. So I would look for anything that said for acne. And I would just be trying all of these things. I would be buying them, or I would be making my parents buy them. This is from a
Right.
teenager. You go and say, "Oh, mommy, I saw this, and it's for this. Can you buy that for me?" Or you take your allowance money and you buy this. So from a young age, I had a whole barrage of skincare products. I was even making my own things. I remember a time I went and I saw that lemon can help with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So I squeezed some lemon in a bottle and threw some water in it and sprayed it on my face and ended up with a big patch. I was experimenting from young. Yeah, so I don't do that anymore. So less is more for me. So my routine is very simple. I have a cleanser. If I'm having acne prone issues, because yes, over 35, you still can get acne prone issues, then I would
Right.
use medication to treat the acne. Sunscreen. So I actually preach and do that part. So I will use a sunscreen. There's one in my car, there's one in my house, there's one in my bag. So anywhere along the line when you're rushing out, as you said, we're busy, you have it there. So if you forget to put it on at home, put it on in the car. If you get out the car without it, there's a little one in your bag that you can put on. And then retinol or retinoids, like I said, that I incorporate. I'm not very good at doing it often, honestly, but I will do and put on a retinoid. And then recently I've been using hyaluronic acid, which is good for putting moisture back into the skin because I do have dry skin. So as I've gotten older, my routine has gotten less complicated and less stuff has been bought. Also, I would mention dietary stuff. So back in the day, you wouldn't think, okay, that affects your skin. So you eat whatever you want to eat. I'm lactose intolerant and I still used to eat milk, drink. I'm
Right.
dairy free completely because I've
Okay.
recognized that that has also caused issues for my skin. So for my routine as well, dietary stuff, I know that dietary stuff can affect my skin, so I've also taken a step to eliminate that for me. I don't instill it on all of my patients. I tell them to monitor. So I tell them, well, if routinely you see that you eat milk and butter and cheese and you get more acne, you may want to cut back on those things. But for me, that's one of the things that has changed in my routine as well. Because although there's research that says diet isn't necessarily correlated to acne and skin problems, anecdotally, I don't believe that because I have seen where changes in diet have helped my skin and patient skin to improve. And there are some studies randomly where other countries in the world, the only difference really and truly between them and us is the diet. So there are countries where they don't have a Western diet. So they don't have no fast food chains. They don't have a lot of stuff. A lot of their stuff is fresh and they don't have acne. There's actually one
Exactly.
study
The
that shows
skin looks
that. So
really good.
yeah, so for me, dietary changes and less products are two things that have changed from when I was younger. So I don't buy as many products as I used to, and I don't just eat whatever because you know I can also think about, okay, this may actually cause my skin to either get dry, or it may cause me to actually break out. Makeup is one of the other things too. I don't wear makeup. It has to be a special
Okay.
occasion.
Right, right,
For
right.
me, and plus we're busy. I really don't have the time to do a full face on mornings, so I don't wear makeup as much as I used to when I was younger. So those three things: less product, dietary changes, no makeup.
Okay, okay, like that. And then with that, I guess what is one piece of skincare advice that you'd like to leave with our listeners today?
So the
Anything
skin
that we
is
haven't
large.
mentioned. Anything we
Well, the
haven't
skin is
mentioned.
the largest organ of the body. I don't think people know that. People dismiss dermatology, people dismiss skin like, people have actually asked if I went to medical school. Yes, dermatologists are doctors.
Oh my
For
gosh,
persons who
really?
don't know, we're not estheticians. And we went to medical school and then you have to go specialize. But my point is the skin is the largest organ of your body and persons need to pay attention to it. The skin gives you a lot of clues to a lot of stuff that's happening internally. So if your skin may be hyperpigmented in a certain area, if you have a certain type of rash, we actually can then do further testing that may lead to you actually getting a medical diagnosis. So persons need to pay attention to their skin. Yes, we want our skin to look good and we want to age well, but you need to pay attention to generally how your skin is, and any changes on your skin you need to actually seek medical attention for, because your skin tells you a lot about what is happening in your body generally. So that's my take home point to listeners. Pay attention to your skin. If it's changing, you need to ask yourself why it's changing. Something may be changing internally, something may be going on otherwise, and therefore it's in your best interest to seek medical attention for that.
Well, thank you, Dr. Jordan. That was amazing. Last words. Your skin tells could tell you so much about
It
what might be
can.
happening with your body. And I like that we spoke about the medical side of dermatology, because I do have a few aesthetic practitioners coming on, and they will speak to that. So I love that we kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuck mainly for under the medical side of things when it comes to the skin. And in terms of, I mean, getting in contact with you, I guess I will put your your Instagram handle. I know you said that you don't post there as much, but at least
I'll
people will
try.
be
I'll
able
try
to reach out to
to do
you
better.
there and contact you about, coming to see you about whatever issues that they may have. But thank you for today. It has been such a great discussion. And yeah, we need to take better care of ourselves and our skin, especially in the early ages and not just when we get a little bit older. That is the key point for me, the key takeaway. And start doing something today. Something easy as just moisturizing and cleansing your skin and putting on sunscreen, because we definitely need that as
We
Black
do.
people, right? So hopefully that those few points resonate and stay and stick with people so they can start implementing these things today. And if you are a health and wellness practice and you need help with your digital marketing strategies, whether that be content, social media marketing, or Google ads or anything like that, even building out your website, if you need help with that, I am here to do that. You can visit my website at Wellness Growth Agency to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. I am on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and I post clips on all of my social media platforms because I want to spread the word and get everybody interested in listening to what we talk about every week. So until next time, keep thriving, and remember, wellness is the journey and growth is the destination. Have an awesome day, Dr. Jordan.
Thank you. You too.